So Herkimer's men came down this ravine into where the corduroy road was here. Look at how dense this is. This is nothing compared to the way it was back then. There was thickets of all kinds of brambles, burdocks. Oh, and by the way, you know where the name Oriskany comes from? The town of Oriska was an Iroquois village, and Oriska means the place of the nettles. Now, if you know what nettles are, you don't want to mix up with them. They hurt and they make you itch. So this is the Oriskany battlefield, but it's the Oriska Indian village. So why do you think it's become Oriskany, not Oriska? Well, this might be just a rumor. We don't know the facts on it. We're not really sure, but they thought maybe when people started writing letters to people who lived in this area, they wrote to them Oriska, and then the abbreviation NY after for New York, and they didn't have enough space between the A and Oriska and the N and NY, and it kind of blended together and made the word Oriskany. That's just a little bit of a possibility of why it's called Oriskany now. But the Oriskas were at the village about 2 miles back in the village of modern-day Oriskany. Now we're coming down into the ravine here. Now, like I said, the thickets here are not as thick. The bushes that's been cleared out many times over 200 and some years. But this was thick with Indians. Joseph Brant's men were all hidden in here, and his I look back here. This is Herkimer and his men came down this path. This path wasn't here. When they came down the corduroy road, the road down into the ravine here, because this path went all the way to Fort Stanwix, it was a road for them to walk on. Wasn't made for heavy wagons or anything. They came down into here and they got attacked. And Brant's men surprised them with hatchets, tomahawks, and with one secret weapon they had. Here's Oriskany Creek flowing. But the secret weapon is they used arrows. And these were a different kind of arrow. They were a poison arrow. Now, I don't mean the kind of poison that they use now that they would kill you instantly with cyanide or some kind of crazy drug. These poison-dipped arrows were dipped in fecal matter of the Indians. And they thought this would cause a problem if even if the arrow just grazed the person. It would cause an infection, it would cause them to get sick, and they would okay, hopefully the enemy dies because of this. So their secret weapon was these crazy arrows dipped in fecal matter. So we're going to come down into the ravine as Herkimer's men got across this creek. They started coming up. Now, like I say, there's a sloping down into the ravine from the other side where they entered the woods, came down through here. And in order to exit the woods on this road, they had to go up another hill. So this is a tiny little valley, a ravine. This is where the creek runs through. And as they got here, this marker up here says, ambush started here. The militia column on its way to the relief of Fort Stanwix marched into this ravine on August 6, 1777, and were ambushed by Loyalists and British. Now, the Loyalists refer to Joseph Brant and his men, his soldiers, who were loyal to King George. Then it says the attackers came out of hiding in the woods on the west, that way, on the south, that way, and on the north. So basically, the Herkimer's men came from the east. Brant's attackers came from the west, that way, from the south, and from the north. The three directions that they weren't coming from. So basically, they encircled them and they attacked. Next stop we're going to come up to here in a little bit.